everyone, welcome to Yoga with Danielle. Today we're going to get started on our backs. Okay, so slowly just roll down nice and slow. Hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a nice big hug. Gently rock from side to side, just massaging your low back, massaging your hip flexors. Go ahead and slowly place your feet down onto the mat. Stretch your arms up over your head, giving yourself a nice big stretch here through your chest and your shoulders. See if you can lengthen your spine a little bit more. And then let's just do 3 little cactus arms here, okay? So bending your arms, and then slowly reaching your arms back up over your head. Good, let your spine be heavy, let your rib cage be heavy. Arms move into cactus, slowly arms reach back up over your head. One more just like that, cactus arms. And slowly reach your arms back up over your head. Good. Stretching your legs out onto your mat. Giving yourself a nice big morning stretch here. Point through your toes and then flex through your toes. Point through your toes and flex through your ankles. Just do that just a few more times. Good. And then slowly let's circle our ankles. Let's actually circle our wrists also. Nice and slow. And then reversing the circle, going the opposite direction. Good. Yeah, and you can always bring your arms forward if that feels better as well. Good. Great, and then slowly re-stretching everything back up over your head. Let your legs relax. Bring your arms just onto your rib cage, your hands onto your rib cage, okay? And then slowly start to just deepen your breath here. Taking a nice big deep inhale in through your nose. Big exhale out through your mouth. Inhaling in through your nose. Exhaling out through your mouth. Inhaling in. Exhaling out. And sealing your lips. Finding the rhythm of your breath as you breathe in through your nose and exhale out through your nose as best you can. Gently shift your head from right to left. Bending your knees, planting your feet onto the mat, arms down by your sides. We'll move through a few rolling bridges here, nice and slow. Okay, so moving a little bit slower this morning or this afternoon or evening, whenever you're taking class. We're just going to move a little bit more mindfully and slowly here. So root down through your feet. Press down through the backs of your arms and slowly peel up one vertebrae at a time off of the mat. So you want to go really slow here so that you feel each vertebrae almost imprint into the mat as you rise up, okay? And then root through your feet, hug your knees and your inner thighs in towards your midline. Keep your hips lifting up towards the sky. And then instead of popping the rib cage open like we usually do, try to seal the bottom part of your rib cage together so we're keeping a little more of an angle here. Okay, rather than like a back bend like we normally do in our yoga practice. So keep it in this nice strong angle, knees, hips, shoulders, all in line with each other, keeping the core nice and tight. Good, inhale in here. Exhaling, you're going to peel down one vertebrae at a time. Again, go slow, keep the traction of your knees and your ankles and your feet all in line with one another. Good, and then once your tailbone releases, you're gonna roll back up and peel up nice and slow again. Pressing into the backs of your arms, pressing into your feet, really activating those hamstrings and those glutes to lift your hips up. Soften your shoulders, hug everything in towards your midline, even that belly button. Good, exhaling, slowly roll down, peel down, press one vertebrae into the mat, nice and slow. Good, one more, really slow, just like that. Grounding down, rooting down, and one vertebrae off. Ground through your feet. Stay steady in your ankles, your knees, your hips. Take a nice big deep inhale here. Exhaling, slowly roll down nice and slow. Right ankle crosses up and over your left knee, figure four glute stretch. Interlacing your hands around your left hamstring. And again, try to find softness here. Okay, release any tension in your head, neck, and shoulders, in your face, in your brow line. Good. And then again, shoulders soften down. Go back to that nice, full, deep, rhythmic breath as you pause here and hold your figure four. Good. Stay for 3 more deep breaths. Keeping the shape of your legs, release your hands. You're going to lower your left foot down onto the mat. Let everything fall over to the left, okay? So let everything shift over. Your right foot's going to plant onto the mat. Okay, knee's going to point up towards the ceiling or up towards the sky, okay? And then you're welcome to open your arms out nice and wide here into like a T position, okay? I'm going to focus a little more on my hips, okay? So I'm going to take my left hand and I'm going to grab it, I'm going to grab my right ankle with it, okay? So the ankle that's crossed in front here, okay? And I'm just going to add a little bit of resistance. So I'm going to gently kind of bring my right foot in a little bit closer. And then with my right hand, I'm going to gently press my right knee or right thigh bone away. And then I'm going to let my hips soften, okay, so that I'm not pressing my hips forward towards the camera, right? I'm going to press them a little bit more down towards the mat. And again, they won't touch the mat, so it's just finding this give and this take, this pull and this pressing, okay, a little bit of resistance and release. Okay, so you start to play with how much you want to resist in this pose and then how much you want to release. Okay, so you can't completely release, otherwise you don't get the stretch, okay? And you can't resist the entire time because then it's all just strengthening, right? We want to find a little bit of release in this outer right hip. Okay, for me, I feel this in my IT band, and again, everyone's going to be a little bit different, but again, just kind of play with how you're resisting and releasing in this pose. Okay, we're going to stay just for a few more moments. Okay, great. And then we're going to find softness now, okay? So now we're going to release our hands, okay? Now right knee is going to drop down towards the mat, okay? So that we come into a supine twist, okay? And again, my knee's not actually touching the mat. It's just turning down towards the mat. And then I'm refocusing now on my upper body to reach my right arm out to the side. And then I can readjust my rib cage. So my left rib cage is moving up towards the sky. My right rib cage is moving down. Okay, so I'm getting this nice spiral action. And then I'm gently just pressing my left hand into my right knee. Again, just for that little resistance, okay, of pressing my knee down towards the mat, but I'm also pressing my knee up into my hands. Whoa, feel that? Okay, I feel it. Okay, it feels actually like a really nice release in my low back on the right side. Okay, so again, go easy, go gentle. Again, this is, it's all just about self-discovery here, exploration. Good. A few more deep breaths. And again, it's really small resistance, okay? Really small. If someone walked by, they would know what you were doing. They would just see that you're in a twist relaxing. But inside, we know internally, right, we're firing up and we're working really hard to maintain and hold these postures and find that a little bit of fire, a little bit of resistance in the poses. Okay, good. Let's slowly release. Oh, okay. Take your time. There's no rush. Okay, especially if you're doing this practice So the first thing you're doing, just go slow, let your bones and your muscles and everything kind of realign. Okay, let's stretch our legs out. Let's stretch our arms up over our head. Give yourself a nice big stretch. Good, and then we'll slowly start the little series all over again, starting with the 3 bridges, okay? This time we're gonna add the arms in with our 3 rolling bridges. Okay, so root down through your feet. Inhaling, let your arms and your hips lift up at the same time and let them arrive all at the same time. So now we're kind of working on our timing and our breath here. Keep cinching the bottom part of your rib cage in. Okay, keep hugging your inner thighs and your knees in towards your midline. Keep rooting down through your feet. And then exhaling, start to peel one vertebrae down at a time, letting your arms lower down with your hips. Try to get them to arrive or land at the same time. Good. Inhaling the lifting back up again. Again, go slow. Okay, it's fun to go a little bit slower. You have to move a little more mindfully. Other things have to kick in. Good. Pause here at the top. Readjust. Let's see if we can soften our glutes just a little bit so we can see how our body can just hold itself up from our structure, and maybe our hamstrings work a little bit more than our glutes here. Good, and then slowly peel down arms and spine at the exact same time. Okay, let's do that one more time with less glute power. Okay, I know it's really hard. I like to fire up my glutes a lot too. Okay, inhaling, lift up. Soften your glutes. Let your feet press into the mat. Let your hamstrings do a little bit more work than they should. And then if you have to, lower your hands down just to kind of notice if you're clenching too much. Yeah, go ahead and give yourself a little pat on the bottom, okay? Good. Okay, lift your hips up even higher. Soften your glutes. Breathe. Good, and then slowly lower right back down again, slowly without clenching your glutes too much, okay? Good, okay, left ankle on top of your right knee, figure 4 glute stretch. Okay, good, and then this is a great place to go back to your breath. So breathing deeply, breathing mindfully, softening your head, neck, and shoulders, softening your face. I'm really tuning into your breath so that we can really focus on releasing any tension in that left glute, the left hip. Good, and staying just a little bit longer so we can catch up with the right side. Good, 2 more deep breaths here. Good, keeping the shape of your legs, release your hands, lower your right foot down. Let your entire shape move over to the left, okay? So right knee lowers down, you're gonna plant your left foot onto the mat, and then press your left knee away from the floor, okay? So you want your knee pointing up towards the sky. And then again, taking, this little twist with your arms out into a T, staying here if you'd like. That might even just be enough of a stretch for you that you don't have to add any of this resistance. So again, move at your own pace, move what feels best for your body, okay? Otherwise, we'll move to like the next step, okay? Right hand's going to grab the ankle, okay? And I'm going to gently bring it a little bit closer towards me, but my foot is still connected to my quad or my knee, okay? So you might be able to move it up higher, that's okay. Okay, left hand is going to gently press the femur bone away, and again, this is all very small movement. You may not even notice anything as you're watching this or doing it yourself. You're actually not moving these big movements. They're really small and subtle movements. A lot of it's really internal, so again, it's finding that give and that take, that push and that pull, that softness, that resistance, okay. Fight or flight also. Good, breathe. This side's a little bit tighter for me, so I really gotta focus on my breath. It's harder for me to find softness here. So connect back with your breath. Okay, good. Slowly, slowly, slowly bring this left knee down towards the mat, okay? And I'm just unhooking my feet so they're not in a bind at all, and then readjusting so I can reach my left arm out to the left. And then again, I'm finding a little bit of this resistance by pressing my right hand into my left knee. So I'm bringing my knee closer to the floor, but I don't want it to touch the floor because that's not the point, right? You want to press your knee into your hand, so again, you find a little bit of that resistance, and again, it's very subtle, it's small. Good, and then by doing this activation, you may even get a bigger, deeper release here in your low back on the left side, maybe a little bit even in the glute, okay? Good, breathe here. Right rib cage up towards the sky, left rib cage slowly dropping down towards the mat. So any adjustments you need to make there. Hand pressing into the knee pressing into the hand. A few more deep breaths. Good, exhaling, slowly release. Oh, take your time coming back to the center. Oh, good. Letting everything realign back up again. Legs stretch out nice and long. Arms up over your head. Giving yourself a nice big stretch. Good. Hugging your knees into your chest. Giving yourself a nice big hug. Oh, that should feel really good after all those hip openers and twisting. Okay, good. And then let's circle our knees in one direction together. And then reverse the circle. Doing just about 3 circles, okay? And then we'll open up the knees as well too, okay? So opening up the knees out nice and wide, circling your knees down and around just 3 times, moving your knees away from each other, your hips away from each other, good. And then reversing the circle 3 times, moving and dropping your knees out and around, good. Good, and then grabbing onto the backs of your hamstrings. We're gonna rock forward and backwards just a few times. Again, just massaging your low back here, your spine as you rock a few times. And then once you gain up enough momentum, we're gonna catch ourselves up in boat pose, okay? So we get a little bit of activation in our abdominals, the front of our body, our core, hugging your inner thighs in. Okay, this should remind you a little bit of that bridge pose, chair pose, okay? It feels a little bit different. Seated doing this, okay? You might think of it as a little bit easier than chair pose, but it's also difficult as well, okay? So sit up even taller. See if you can lift your arms up over your head. Good, reach your arms forward. Good, arms up over your head. Let's add a cactus arm. Cactus arms. Arms reach up over your head, arms reach forward. Good, arms reach up over your head. Cactus, arms reach up and forward. Good, last one. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Squeeze into cactus, hold. Arms up over your head. Good, hugging your knees in, soles of the feet together, knees out nice and wide, and slowly just lower your feet down onto the mat. Okay, good. So sitting up nice and tall here, roll your shoulders, lift your chest and your heart, and then gently just start to fold forward over your hips. First, keep your spine nice and long here. Okay, press your feet into one another. Breathing with this nice long spine. So you might not go as far, but that's not the point. Again, it's about finding a little bit of this resistance, a little bit of our strength here. Good, exhaling, now round over, soften. Arms can come out in front of you if you'd like. You can keep your hands on your ankles, drop your head, make it nice and heavy. So a little bit of active stretching and then active releasing in our stretches today. Good. Gently rise back up, coming all the way back up to seated. Okay, good. Taking your right hand across your body to grab your left ankle, okay? Left arm's gonna reach up and over, and you're just gonna come to a nice big side body stretch, okay? And then this right hand's just kind of, again, adding a little bit of resistance so that you can lean a little bit more over towards the right, but your left leg is pressing into your right hand to anchor your hips down. Good, slowly rise up and then we'll switch sides. So left hand comes across to the right ankle, so just crossing the body. Right arm reaches up and over, and again, side body bend stretch here. And again, instead of tipping, right, we want to find resistance. So press your leg and hips down towards the mat. Use your left arm to help anchor you so that you can go a little bit deeper here in the side body stretch. Good, slowly rise back up. Wonderful, okay, bringing your legs together. We'll make our way into tabletop, okay? We're just gonna do one sun A, nice and slow, before we get back into our hips, okay? So let's do a little round of cat and cow here. I just want us to kind of, kind of start moving everything into a little bit of a standing sequence, but we're not gonna get too far into standing at all today, okay? So this will be considered our standing sequence, our cat and cow, and our sun A, okay? Good. Okay, great. Okay, from here, coming to neutral tabletop, toes tuck under. We're gonna hover and lift our knees up off the mat, okay? Kicking in your abdominals. Take a nice big deep inhale here. Exhale, downward facing dog. Once you come to downward dog, pedal your feet out. Sway your hips from side to side, okay? So start to wake up the backs of the legs here. Start to wake up, bearing weight into your hands, into your shoulders, into your feet, okay? Good. Okay, find some stillness here in your downward dog. 5 slow, deep breaths here. What do you have to activate to keep your downward dog from collapsing? What do you have to soften so that you can find a little bit deeper stretch here in your downward dog? How can you ground into your hands a little bit more? How can you lift up through your kneecaps to support your downward dog? Slowly take your time, traveling to the top of your mat. You can bend your knees, walk, step forward. Good, feet will be hip distance apart, and let's hang out here in our forward fold, okay? Hanging on to opposite elbows. You can also interlace your hands behind your back if you want to come into a chest expansion, okay? But spending some time here in our forward fold, in our hamstring stretch. So definitely feel open to moving around a little bit here. You can even open up your stance a little bit wider. Good, thinking this as a massage for your hamstrings as you're shifting from right to left, or if you're even staying in stillness. Again, how can you soften? How can you press into the floor a little bit more to help make you feel stable and sturdy in your forward fold? Release your arms. Bend your knees to slowly roll up to come all the way up to standing, okay? And mountain pose is going to be our only standing posture today. Arms reach up over your head. Tailbone drops down towards the mat. Abdominals are lifting up and in, belly button into your spine. Arms reach up over your head. Drop your shoulders down. Okay, feel like you're on the mat. Feel the length of your spine on the mat. Feel yourself get taller. Good, take a nice big deep inhale here. Exhaling, fold forward, nice and slow, forward fold. Knees can be bent. Inhaling, lengthen up halfway. So find that flat back, that tabletop. Find more length, find more lift. Exhaling, planting your hands, stepping back, plank pose. Okay? And again, plank your way. Straight legs, bent knees, forearms. Okay, and again, pausing here. What do you have to use? What muscles do you have to use to help you stay upright here in plank? Can you press away from the floor a little bit more? Can you scoop your abdominals up and in even more? How can you use your breath to help you stay up? Right? Good. A few more deep breaths. Here's our strength. Let your legs do a lot of the work here. Let your core do a lot of the work here. Good. I'm going to lower my knees down. Okay, I'm going to move into chaturanga. Okay, so I'm going to lower halfway down, keeping my hips forward, right? So I'm not pressing my hips back like I'm in tabletop. So I'm still in my plank. So lowering down, all the way down to the mat. Take your time. Good. Straighten your legs out. Adjust as you need to. Good. Let's keep our hands under our shoulders here, slightly back, okay? Peel your shoulders off the mat. Inhaling, lift up, coming into baby cobra. Good. Hands lift up off the mat and lower back down. Just 3 times. Hands lift and lower. Last one. Hands lift and lower. Slowly lower your head back down onto the mat. Good. Moving into cactus arms. Okay, we'll just do 3 little lifts here, okay, just to kind of piece everything together. Okay, so arms and hover, lift up off the mat and lower back down. Arms hover and lift up off the mat and lower back down. Last one, arms hover and lift. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Use those rhomboids to help lift your arms up higher. And slowly lower back down. Good. Coming into Sphinx pose. Elbows and forearms down. Pressing down into your hands. Lift up through your chest, your shoulders. Good. Try not to dump in your low back. Lift your abdominals up off the mat. So it's, again, nice and active as you press down into your hands. Good. Press into your legs. Good. Exhaling, slowly lower down, and we're going to make our way into our last downward facing dog. So just 2 downward dogs today. Take your time. Okay, notice how this downward dog feels. Does it feel more open? Do you feel more stiff, right? Okay, all of those things are valid. Again, just check in with your body. See how you feel. Good. 3 more deep breaths. Okay, great. Lower down onto your knees slowly with control. Great. And then we're going to make our way onto our backs again. Okay, so take your time as you roll down onto your mat. Okay, nothing fancy here. Getting onto the ground. Just swing your legs around and then hug your knees into your chest. And again, give yourself a hug, just like we did at the beginning of class. Okay. And then let's do that little hips leg series again. Keeping your legs together, we're going to circle our knees 3 times in one direction together. Reversing, going the opposite direction 3 times. Good. Now separating the legs, okay, so like egg beaters. So knees are going to open up away from each other and then bringing your knees back in, again, just 3 times. And I'm using my hands to kind of help guide them so I'm not overworking my hips too much. Good. And then reversing the circle 3 times. Good. Okay, and then let's slowly stretch our legs out onto our mat. Good. Arms up over your head. Give yourself a nice big stretch again. This time let your back arch up. Okay, let your rib cage pop open. Okay, good. Keeping your left leg long. Let's hug this right knee into our chest. Okay, good. Let's do little hip stirs here too. Okay, so just 3 circles in one direction and then 3 in the other. Good. And again, bring that right knee into your chest. Hug it in. Moving into half happy baby pose. Right knee is going to move to the outer edge of your rib cage or towards your right shoulder and armpit. Right arm is going to move into the inside of your right leg to grab your right ankle, okay? Or you can grab the outer edge of your right foot and then you'll kick your heel and foot up towards the sky, okay? And then I like to keep my left hand on my hip, okay, so that I can, kind of remind myself to keep this left leg heavy and to keep my left hip grounded, okay? So As I'm in happy baby, I don't want to tip over to the right, letting my left hip lift up, okay? I want to stay anchored and rooted into this left leg as I'm in my half happy baby pose on this right side, okay? Good. And again, just breathe here. Big hip opener. Okay, so connect back with your breath. Okay, and as we're holding here, maybe a little bit longer than usual, you know, start to notice like I was tipping over a little bit. I didn't really notice it. Okay, so check back in. Okay, how's your spine lengthening onto the mat? How are you lengthening through your left leg? Are you gripping? Okay, again, kind of going back to where you need to find a little bit of resistance and softness. So we can't be completely soft here, okay, or relax. It has to be a little bit of activation in this pose to stay upright. Good. Exhale, release this right leg down. Whoo, all the way to the left. Go slow. Good. And then just give your legs a little shake out. Great. And then we'll move to the left side. Okay, so we can get that left side to catch up with the right. Okay, so left knee into your chest. Give yourself a nice little hug here. Good, and we'll do those hip stirs. Okay, so circling your knee and hip 3 times in one direction. Don't worry if you're totally stable here. I just want you to open up this hip. Good. Moving in the opposite direction 3 times. Good, hugging the left knee into your chest. Keeping your right leg long. Move your left knee towards your left shoulder, the outside of your rib cage. Good, moving into half happy baby pose. And again, this right here, just bringing your knee over towards your left armpit. This might be a big enough stretch for you here, so you can stay here, okay? You can bring your left hand, left arm in the inside of your left leg to grab your ankle, and again, it might be here, okay? Maybe you grab the outer edge of your foot, okay? Your foot does not have to lift up towards the sky, okay? That's just the next stages we're taking. So know that you can go in and out of this pose. It's really just all about the hips, and adding the foot makes it deeper in the hips, and then also getting into the hamstrings a little bit here too, okay? Right hand can stay on your right hip, again, to really lengthen that right side. So resist the urge to kind of tuck your tailbone under. You want to lengthen your tailbone down. You want to lengthen through the right leg. Anchor your hips, anchor even the right side of your body, the back side, right? That'll help you stay stable and sturdy as well. Good. Good, and then again, use your breath. We're gonna stay here for a while. So be patient, check in. Softness and resistance when you need it. Notice if you start to pitch over a little bit, and it's okay if you do, right? But just check back in, recenter yourself, re-anchor yourself. Again, you can play with flexing your bottom foot or pointing, whatever again makes you feel more activated into the mat is absolutely fine. From here, gently, slowly release your left leg all the way down towards the right. Take your time. Good. Stretch your arms up over your head. And then slowly release your legs, release your arms down by your side for a very short Shavasana here. Letting everything be heavy on your mat. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Gently shift your head from side to side. Circling your ankles and your wrists a few times. When you're ready, stretching your arms up over your head. Bring your big toes together to touch. Good. Bending your knees in. Making your way onto your side. Pause for a moment in this fetal position. Using your arms and your legs to help you rise up to come up to seated. Sitting up nice and tall. And again, you can shift a little bit from right to left here. Good. Bringing your hands together at your heart center. And just being in gratitude for your practice, for showing up on your mat each week with a new challenge. Be grateful for the time that you have on your mat, allowing yourself to connect with your breath, your body, and most importantly, your mind. And slowly just begin to smile in honor of your practice. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you all next week. Oh my gosh, I got yoga head. Okay, yoga hair. See you all later. Thank you. Bye.